Hello, you two. I'm glad you got my letter. Durin's awake and waiting on the bench over there. I'm here if you need help. Just give me a shout.
Don't worry about us. We'll be fine.
Oh, hey, you two. I just remembered what happened right before I passed out. Thanks for holding me back. I shudder to think what might have happened if you hadn't. I'm fine now. It's just... a lot of people seem to have forgotten me.
Don't worry. We'll figure out a way to fix this. Why don't you start by telling us what happened?
It felt so strange. After I realized no one recognized me anymore, I suddenly felt like I'd completely lost contact with my body. Abyssal power lies sealed within this body I inhabit. So when I lost my connection to it, I lost control of that power too. It wasn't until I heard everyone calling my name that I was able to reconnect with my body.
You lost contact with your body? Does that mean there's something wrong with it? Sounds like we need Albedo more than ever.
I don't think the problem lies in Albedo's alchemy.
Huh. But then, why are people forgetting you? Guess that's what we need to figure out. That means we need Alice for sure. But it's been ages and she still hasn't been in contact. Now would be a really good time for a hint.
How could the story's budding branches even hope to reach beyond the towering walls? Leaving the castle, the witch went off in search of the tallest, grandest tree in the whole world. High up in the canopy of that tree, she sought a resting place, a refuge where the little sapling might take root. Go to that place, for it was there that the sapling felt its first breath of wind.
Huh? Was that another clue? Does that mean the story isn't over yet?
Leaving the castle. It just occurred to me. If this story is all about my own experiences, then wouldn't what happened after I left Simulanka be part of it too?
But how could she possibly know exactly what would happen? And even if she did, how could we know when the story was complete? Yeah. Since we can't reach Alice right now, we'll just have to get to the bottom of this ourselves. But first, we gotta figure out where this riddle wants us to go.
The tallest, grandest tree in the whole wide world. Huh. The only place that ever gave me that feeling was the one I ended up in right after leaving Simulanka. They had great coffee there, too. And so many books you'd never run out of things to read. Think about it. Our search in Mondstadt began in a library, right? Well, Sumeru City's got one of those, too. And it's absolutely huge. What do you say? Should we try looking there?
Huh. That does kind of make sense. And it's not like Paimon's got a better idea. Alright, let's just give Jean and the others a heads up first.
Well, it sounds like you've got a plan, so I won't interfere. All I ask is that you stay safe. Albedo won't be back for some time, and until he is, we can't know for sure how dangerous Durin might be in his current state.
I'm so sorry about what happened before.
Believe me, I'm not blaming you, and neither is anyone else here. If anything, it's the opposite. We're all just worried about you.
Worried? About me?
Come with me. I want to show you something. As soon as they heard you were awake, they all hurried over to see how you were doing.
You all came to see me?
A little birdie told me you're working on finishing a storybook. So maybe all those people losing their memories is just a plot twist, waiting to be resolved.
Miss Lisa, you always seem to know how to put my mind at ease. Please, everyone, don't worry about me. When I get back, I'll find a way to complete my mother's story, and the one we started, too.
Whew. After the library hunt in Mondstadt, it's not as if Paimon was expecting this to be easy. But this... yeah... this is something else.
Where do we even begin?
Even the clue this time seemed kind of cryptic. Yeah. Guess the best we can do is stay on the lookout for more weird things going on. Huh?
Sorry, what was that?
I'm here to return Volume 5.
According to the catalog, Volume 5 of this series is not available for loan. I can't accept the return of a book that was never checked out in the first place.
Let me put it this way. My copy is complete. Yours, on the other hand, is missing large amounts of content. So you should swap it for mine instead.
Sir, you have to understand. Managing a library is a serious business, and we have protocols in place for this kind of thing. I can't just replace an important volume in our collection based on nothing more than your word.
Hey! Look what the Wandering Tom dragged in!
Oh, it's you.
And, what is it you're doing here?
I'm a traveling scholar, as you know. Isn't a library the most natural place for me to be?
Well, the last time we saw you was all the way in Nodcry. Paimon just didn't expect to suddenly see you in Sumeru, that's all.
There were some things I needed to come back and take care of. Some documents had gone missing, so I tracked them down, restored them to the original condition. And now, I'm here to return them. And considering what I'm planning to do next, it feels like a weight off my shoulders. What's going on with you, huh? You look like a kicked puppy.
Hat guy. At least you haven't forgotten about me.
What's that supposed to mean? So it's been getting worse.
Sounds like you know something we don't.
After he left Simulanka, he spent some time traveling Sumeru with me. I was working on several texts at the time, and I stumbled upon something strange. Anytime Durin of Simulanka was mentioned, before long, the record would disappear. Which means, all the remaining records on Durin are about the evil dragon that fell on Dragonspine.
How did you even discover that?
If I remember correctly, Hat Guy loved the time he spent in Simulanka so much that he started writing a travel log.
That's besides the point. The fact is, you're not affected by the ley lines of this world. I'm sure you can grasp the implications of what that means. His case is different from mine. It's more like the world itself refuses to accept his existence. It started with a few written records, but now, it sounds like it's spread to people who never met him or didn't know him well. At this rate, the whole world might forget him altogether.
The whole world? But that includes all my friends in Mondstadt, and even Hat Guy, too. So that's what you've been worried about all this time? Why didn't you just tell me?
There are more important questions right now, like figuring out how to fix this. That mage clearly cared a lot about her child. She left that book behind for a reason. If you want answers, isn't that the place to find them?
You think that didn't occur to us already? Problem is, we need to find the memory that unlocks the next chapter first.
Mind if I take a look? I just want to know what secrets this book is hiding. Besides, I've run into a bit of red tape, so I've got time.
Of course. Be my guest.
So, the memory we've been looking for was about you all along?
The little dragon became companions with a stray cat with dark blue fur. It was a friendship born of all they had in common. He left his castle at the stray's invitation, setting out to explore the world beyond its walls. There, he grew fond of the outside world, eager to make friends and share the story of his life. Taken by the dragon's story, the stray tried to write it down. But he soon realized that no matter how he tried, it would always warp into the evil dragon's tale.
So, this is the world where this chapter takes place? Looks like we're at the top of some kind of gigantic tree.
This one must be about what happened to me when I first arrived in Tevat. No wonder the memory that unlocked it was about Hat Guy. Most of my memories from that period were.
Hold on. Anyone want to explain how I ended up looking like this?
Maybe you've become a character in the story too.
You see me as a stray cat?
A wandering Tom, to be exact. You should count yourself lucky. Of all Durin's friends, your character is by far the most memorable.
Maybe it's because I've known Hat Guy for longer, so my impression of him is more vivid than the others.
Vivid? Then how come you haven't changed one bit?
Guess that means the impression the Traveler left was so vivid, it didn't need changing.
Hello, everyone! Ready for today's adventure?
It's the storybook, Durin.
Oh. So you're not playing yourself in this one? Does that mean the two of you have even more memorable roles to play?
Where are we going today, kitty cat?
Whatever. Just follow me. Same as always.
Okie dokie! Can we chat along the way?
If you have something to say, just say it.
Was that seriously how the two of you communicated when you first got here?
Yep.
Anyway, how do we get ourselves out of here?
Usually, the narrator gives hints to help us figure out what to do. Speaking of which, about time we got some of those, don't you think?
The story's vines had woven themselves together into a giant tree, the boughs of which a little storyless dragon now paced, homeless among its leaves. He had to find a way to leave this place and set off in search of a home of his own. If he stayed, the world would erase him from its memory altogether.
To leave this place? But where am I supposed to go?
The little dragon felt completely lost. Just like the vines, the road ahead branched off into different directions, twisting and turning before disappearing into the mist. But as luck would have it, a prophetess waited up ahead. Perhaps she might know where each path might take him.
You must be the little lost dragon.
It's true. My friends and I are lost.
This meeting was no accident. The prophetess was in fact the seer witch, here to present her promised gift.
The seer witch? Oh yeah! That's Mona's teacher, right? The old hag?
Insolent child. I am the seer witch, your prophetess, not some old hag.
Sorry!
Now, little lost dragon, I have come to bestow the gift I once promised. A prophecy.
A prophecy?
Hear me now, for my prophecy is this. One day, the dragon from beyond the castle shall be reborn, and none may avert its coming.
The wind took the prophecy and swept it off into the distance. And so, the little dragon was shown a path to wander.
As far as I remember, once that alchemist from Mondstadt learned about the prophecy, he chose to stand with you against the evil dragon. So, what does any of this have to do with you being forgotten?
Oh, wise witch of prophecy! Could we trouble you with another question?
As enigmatic as she was elegant, the seer witch spoke no more, for her thoughts had long since returned to the starry firmament above.
Ugh, just when we actually needed her.
The seer witch was my mother's friend, so the prophecy she just gave should turn out to be helpful.
Well, it's not like we've got better options. But, if all we need to do is leave this place, which path should we take?
Why don't we take a look around?
The wind kept blowing, but the little dragon had not yet resolved to follow it. Before him lay a foggy path, and where it might lead he could not tell.
If we go this way, we'll be heading back to Mondstadt, just like we planned. Out of all the options so far, this seems like the safest, right? At least we know what happens next.
He helps stop the evil dragon from returning, gets a new body, makes a whole bunch of friends, who all just forget about him.
But you didn't forget, Hat Guy.
I'm just saying, choosing this path wouldn't solve the main problem. You'd still end up being forgotten.
Huh.
I'm not against choosing this path. I just wonder what secrets it might be hiding.
Let me think about it. I still think you should keep going, little dragon. If you leave the castle, you can accomplish something amazing and make a bunch of friends along the way.
Really? Then let's go!
Unable to preserve his story, the little dragon wandered astray. Fortunately for him, a certain prophetess had left behind a prophecy to guide him. The wind took the prophecy and swept it off into the distance, and so the little dragon was shown a path to wander. Following the wind's guidance, the little dragon made his escape. In turn, the prophetess affirmed the little dragon's choice, leaving an extra secret as her parting gift.
Now that you've made up your mind, I shall keep my promise by explaining fate's little trick. Long, long ago, the gods of the high heavens gave the world outside the castle a magic of its own. They called it storytelling. It was a magic of almost unshakable power that governed how people met, grew close, and understood one another. Each person had a story meant for them and them alone, one whose ending was written in the heavens long ago. In truth, your story and the evil dragons are simply two versions of the same tale, and that is something the magic of storytelling cannot abide. Beyond the castle's walls, your story cannot take root, for the evil dragon's tale has done so already.
So, that was the secret?
Huh.
But what does that mean?
You still don't get it? Simulanka Durin and Tevat Durin share a special kind of connection. Their fates are mirror images of one another. While they were in two separate worlds, there may have been some mutual influence, but their fates were independent. But when Simulanka Durin came to Tevat, a version of his fate already existed there. So, how can two fates exist at the same time? The answer is, they can't. The rules of this world don't allow it. You can't return a book you never checked out in the first place.
So, what's Durin supposed to do?
Those mages seem to have come up with quite the ingenious solution. I'm here to make a return.
As I said, there's no record of Volume 5 of this series ever being checked out.
Then just think of this as Volume 6. Based on what I know, the author was planning on publishing another volume anyway.
The catalog does have a slot reserved for Volume 6, so this is it?
Sure, let's go with that. All you need to know is, I'll be the one writing this series from now on.
You...
What are you up to this time?
Remember the red tape I mentioned before? Well, I just took care of it. Now, I guess you'll be off to see your alchemist friend? It should be pretty obvious by now. He has the answers you're looking for.
Well, we do have a whole bunch of things to confirm with Albedo, that's for sure. But didn't Jean say he'd be gone for quite a while?
I'll join you. Just let me know when it's time to go.
Hat guy?
Don't sound so surprised. I'm part of this story too, aren't I? I'm just playing my role.
Well, yeah. But it's not that. I just feel like you want to help, but something's holding you back.
When I first realized you were being forgotten by the world, I thought it might be because you spent too much time with me. I even thought cutting our ties might be the only way to fix it.
Why would you think that?
It doesn't matter now. Judging from the answer this book has given us, I was probably overthinking it. Just as well, with the ley lines rejecting him like this, the people who still remember him are his only remaining connection to this place. If that last fragile tie was broken, who can say what devastation his unbound body might unleash? And to think I'm one of the people keeping you here, instrumental in helping change your fate. Can't say I saw it coming.
Well, if it's good enough for Hat Guy, it's good enough for me. After all, he is about as odd as humans get.
Excuse me?
With some people, even if you try asking a simple question, they'll always give you a complicated answer. And the more you ask, the more complicated it gets. Truth is, that guy's just that kind of guy.
Whatever. All I needed was a yes or no, so we can quit it with all the back and forth. So this is the other Durin, huh? If this had been the dragon that ended up being revived in Mondstadt, there's no telling what kind of calamity that people would have had to endure. So, if you think about it like that, Durin's actually a hero. No, I'm just a little envious, that's all. Not everyone gets a chance to be a hero.
Actually, most of the credit belongs to Albedo.
Then again, barely anyone even remembers you at this point. So I guess there's not much left to envy.
Ah, so you three still remember Durin. Looks like the memory loss hasn't spread to close friends. Yet. I guess that means my memory of you must still be complete as well.
Albedo.
You're finally here! Oh, boy, do we have a whole pile of questions for you!
Oh, you're here too?
I think I've pieced together some of what happened to him. But what's your take on things?
Master Jean filled me in on what happened, and I've got a few theories. But let's get on the same page first. Well, physically, he's doing fine. His body is holding the abyssal power at bay. And there's nothing whatsoever to indicate any risk of collapse.
So, from an alchemy point of view, there's nothing wrong with him?
The issue isn't so much that the abyssal power within him has gotten out of control. It's that the connection between his will and body is fading. If he ends up losing his conscious will, his body will fall back on its biological instincts. And that's when the abyssal power within it will take over. This book mentioned a witches' gathering. It seems like quite a few of these witches got themselves involved in Durin's case. Which brings me to my theory. Bringing Fairy Tale Durin into this world to replace the Durin on Dragonspine means using one Durin's fate to overwrite the others. But the power of alchemy alone would not be enough to pull off such a feat. It would have required the combined use of Miss Barbeloff's astrology, my teacher's alchemy, and Aunt Alice's magic. After learning of Miss Barbeloff's prophecy, Durin and I finally came up with a way to settle the Dragonspine Durin problem for good. And I took care of the alchemy side of things, which, looking back on it, seems to have been a part of their plan all along. So now, there's only one thing missing. As for the fate theory our friend in the hat just mentioned, I still can't figure out how any kind of magic could possibly influence the fate of Tevat. But I'm certain that the answer lies within this book.
So, the reason Alice had us complete this book was to make that magic possible?
A form of magic powerful enough to rewrite fate itself.
Well, we've no time to lose. I just need to take a look at the book. The next part of the story most likely relates to me. So the memory that unlocks it must be connected to me too.
Huh?
The giant tree was home to a broken branch, the shape of its splintered arm aligning perfectly with the branch that had burst forth from the castle walls. Join yourself to that broken bough, for there you may take root at last, and henceforth bask in the sun and rain of the world beyond the castle. But first, fetch the stickiest clay and let it bind the scar of the break.
I see.
Guided by the breeze, the little dragon arrived at an alchemist's workshop. There he was greeted by a clay figure, a child molded by the sage witch's hands. Though gentle in appearance, he had inherited his mother's cold, sharp wisdom. And he was determined to avert the calamity the evil dragon would bring, and so was his helper, none other than the little dragon himself.
What is this place?
It looks like it's modeled after an alchemist's workshop. Or rather, a cliched stereotype of one.
Albedo?
Hold on. Why do I look like this?
Oh, yeah! We forgot to tell you. Basically, the characters in the story are reflections of how Durin sees them.
At least you're still human-shaped?
Well, since Cat Guy has taken on a different appearance too, that must mean the two of us are both characters in the story. But you, Paimon, and Durin haven't changed at all. You must be special figures in some way.
I'd like to know more about that too. But seeing as none of them can explain it, let's just concentrate on moving the plot forward.
And just like that, the group stumbled upon a hidden passageway. Intricately crafted, it seemed to lead them towards another exciting chapter of the tale.
Come on! What are we waiting for? Next chapter, here we come! Ouch!
But this was a chapter that had not yet been written. Ahead of them was a storyless void, and they could go no further.
What? Then what's the point of having a path here? Sounds like a pretty bad habit for a writer.
Over here. I found something.
What the clay figure found was none other than the evil dragon's heart itself. Though the creature had perished long ago, its heart was still there, pulsing away and growing warmer with every beat. And the clay alchemist knew what it meant. That the evil dragon would return one day, just as the prophecy had foretold. Yet, guided by his mother's wisdom, he foresaw another fate. If only the alchemist could bestow this heart upon the little dragon, he might be reborn in the evil dragon's stead. Only then would the evil dragon's heart grow still, and the little one inherit its tale.
Sounds like this chapter's about Albedo bringing me to life?
If that really was the solution, though, this would have been over the minute I finished the transmutation. So why is Durin still being forgotten?
There has to be some other reason.
Yeah, I'd like to explore the area a bit more.
Unless the little dragon kept moving, eventually he would be forgotten.
Do you think we could just destroy it? Be it the calamity headed for Mondstadt or my inability to leave behind a story of my own, doesn't it all come down to the fact that this heart never truly died? What if, here in this story, we could finally destroy it?
Could Aunt Alice's magic really allow us to do what's theoretically meant to be impossible?
Either way, it's an intriguing idea. I'm not opposed to giving it a shot.
Durin!
It's just... I'm still afraid someday, even you guys will end up forgetting me. If there's even the slightest chance it'll prevent that, I'm willing to try anything. But I'm not sure if I can destroy it on my own. Chances are, I'm gonna need your help again. So please, everyone, help me destroy this heart, once and for all!
The evil dragon's heart continued to beat, as if waiting for the little dragon to accept it as his own.
Looks like we have no choice but to get this done. Whatever happens next, Durin is going to need all of our help. Is everyone ready?
What the clay figure found was none other than the evil dragon's heart itself. Though the creature had perished long ago, its heart was still there, pulsing away and growing warmer with every beat. And the clay alchemist knew what it meant. That the evil dragon would return one day, just as the prophecy had foretold. Yet, guided by his mother's wisdom, he foresaw another fate. If only the alchemist could bestow this heart upon the little dragon, he might be reborn in the evil dragon's stead. Only then would the evil dragon's heart grow still, and the little one inherit its tale. At last, the little dragon accepted the evil dragon's heart, and a new life came into being. The evil dragon's heart beat in his chest, and the little dragon's soul guided him forward. Thus did the prophecy hold true, even as fate had been rewritten, and so was the little dragon born anew.
Finally! A happy ending! That must be the last step, right? Woohoo! We completed the story!
Born anew, the little dragon set off once more, his story far from over.
Huh? So, that wasn't the end?
What comes next might be the most crucial part of all. The real last step.
If fate really is as devious as they say, then I say, show us what you've got.
Wow! You're all so serious all of a sudden. Durin, are you alright?
The evil dragon's heart was now one with the little dragon, yet the dark power within it still lingered. Would the little dragon dare to hold this power back, or would he simply give in?
Hey! What kind of question is that? Of course he's gonna control it! What choice does he have?
Time is running out. So, will the little dragon dare to hold this power back? Or would he simply give in?
What's up with the narrator?
Would he dare to hold this power back? Or would he simply
The little dragon and his companions. Blank. Blank again.
Huh? What's going on? Are we running out of ink?
Once the ink runs out, is that the end of the story?
I had a feeling this would happen.
What's happening to the others?
Now that the story's ink was spent, all that lay ahead were blank pages.
Hello, children. If you're hearing this recording, it's because you've reached a certain ending. You may have noticed that little Durin's experiences have been written into the pages of this book. Well, you should know that in the same way, its ending will also be written onto him. So be careful, because triggering a bad ending could be somewhat problematic. Let me guess, you're upset that I didn't warn you earlier? Don't worry though, I've thought it all through. I built a very special feature into this book, just for you, the witnesses of this tale. So, go ahead, see if you can turn back the pages. If you're not happy with the ending you've reached, just flip back a few pages and let the tale unfold once more. Pretty incredible, huh? That's the power of magic.
Would he dare to hold this power back? Or would he simply give in?
Returning to the castle. I just never thought crossing over into a new world would create so much trouble. All I wanted was to make some friends. I'm starting to think I kind of miss being in Simulanka.
You might look back on it with fondness, but if I were you, I wouldn't miss it.
Why?
Sometimes, moving on with your life comes at a cost. But that's better than going nowhere at all.
You don't have to worry, Durin. No matter what problem you face, there will always be a solution.
Okay. Sometimes I wish I could just go back and see it again.
As the little dragon slipped back inside the castle's walls, the clamor of the outside world fell away. There was no danger here, no problems for the little dragon to resolve. As soon as his mother finished her story, it was time for the child to drift off into the world of dreams. And so the story ended, with the little dragon fast asleep in his castle, just like he had never even hatched.
What's going on? I feel so weak.
Hey, what's happening? Durin, wake up! But this can't be how it ends. Durin promised to bring back everyone's memories. There's no way he'd accept an ending like this.
Looks like you've discovered another possible ending. Do not lose hope. You just need to keep searching, for there are possibilities that only you can bring to life.
The little dragon was at an impasse, and the dark power within him surged like a tide. Unchecked, the darkness engulfed everything around it, including the little dragon's soul. The little dragon's story faded into nothingness, and in the world beyond the castle, only the evil dragon's tale endured.
Is this me?
And so the story ended, with the little dragon fading from sight, leaving nothing but the evil dragon's shadow in his place.
Oh no! That means Durin... What do we do now?
Looks like you've discovered another possible ending. Do not lose hope. You just need to keep searching, for there are possibilities that only you can bring to life.
What's going on here? Why isn't the story letting Durin just suppress the abyssal power? It keeps getting stuck.
It seems the act of suppressing the power counts as an event in the story. In other words, we would need ink to write it in.
So, what now? Did we use too much earlier? How are we supposed to write a happy ending with only this much left? But...
Well, this is Durin's story. As long as he's alive and well, why should it end?
If there really is such a direct correlation between the story and his fate, I may have a potential hypothesis. Durin was, and still is in essence, a storybook character, written into being by M. From the moment he was born, he has always dwelt within her story. And I suspect that has remained the case, even after his arrival in Tevat. Reviving Durin in the evil dragon's place was an act of grafting this Durin story onto the latter's fate. In essence, that is how his fate was rewritten. But there is a fundamental difference between a being's story and its fate. As Miss Barbeloth reminded us, the fate of every living being in Tevat has been woven into the fabric of time. Its most natural path, therefore, is to proceed along its given track. But Durin's story, on the other hand... As Durin's connection to this world wore thin, not only have people started to forget him, he started to lose control of the abyssal power within. In other words, his story can't continue, because the author's ink is drying up. That's what it seems like to me.
It would seem the little dragon had made a group of fine friends indeed.
Save it. The question is, are you here to help him, or stand in his way?
This is as far as the story can go. What path will you choose?
I suppose the final decision is up to me. It's hard to believe I never actually left my mother's story. If that's true, I'd like to go there and see for myself.
By there, I take it you mean the blank pages of the unwritten chapter ahead?
But we still don't even know how Alice's magic works. If Durin belongs inside the story, then going outside of it to some unwritten part, isn't that too risky?
I'm not afraid.
I second that. It would seem this is one answer you need to go seize for yourself.
So be it. Whatever obstacles stand in your way, we'll tear them down together.
Watch out! Gotta keep going.
Ahead lies only a stormless void.
My consciousness is slipping away.
Keep going, Durin. A pure soul is your essence, not an empty void.
I feel so weak.
Stand tall, Durin. You are not some amorphous idea. The body I made for you is flesh and bone.
Am I truly alive?
Yes, Durin, but you must keep going. You're as alive and real as I am.
I can't feel a connection.
You're not alone in this world, Durin. At the very least, you have me.
I can't remember anything. Who am I?
Your name is Durin, and there are many who still remember it.
My name is Durin.
You're taking too long. Come on, Durin, run! In this world, fate waits for no one.
Wait! Where am I meant to go? What am I supposed to do?
Go make your wish come true, Durin.
My wish?
Your story's not over yet.
Silence, huh? Have you nothing to say about my proposal?
Let me get this straight. You want to graft your story onto this unfinished thread of fate, and in doing so, not only rewrite that fate, but allow the story to live on.
Quite the brilliant idea. Still, the story's survival depends entirely on whether the author keeps writing.
Exactly. And the moment foretold by the prophecy is still centuries away.
I see. I thought my own ignorance might be the problem. That I'd asked more of the noble science of alchemy than it could ever deliver. Or that I had failed to discern the heavenly signs and grasp the secret truth underlying the prophecy. Little did I imagine that time itself would prove to be the greatest hurdle of all.
Well, my friend, this has been a most intriguing experiment. And from an academic perspective, at least, I don't think it was a bad proposal.
Someday, the prophecy will come to pass. So remember, my friend, much like the stars themselves, there will always be something that transcends the test of time.
Thank you, everyone. You've helped me so much already. But, Alice, I still have one final favor to ask of you. Will you lend me your magic one last time, just enough for me to keep his story alive until the prophecy is fulfilled?
You mean you want me to extend your lifespan?
No, not in that sense. As Rhindaughter once told me, the laws governing life and death are among the most unyielding in this world. I'm well aware of that. Whether it lasts a day or an age, the span of one's life is determined by fate alone. If I tried to breach that law by force, I'm afraid I would lose what makes me human. This is not a path I want to go down. If I am to die, then I shall die a human.
So what is it that you want me to do?
I would like you to send this pen of mine into the future.
I see. Then perhaps there really is a way I can help. I could create a kind of story magic to take over the writing once you're gone. Oh, but for it to work, you would need to provide enough of your own words for it to learn from.
How much?
Oh, an immense amount. So much, in fact, that you would have to spend the rest of your life writing. And even then, I'm sorry to say, it would not last forever. No matter how much you write, there is a limit to the number of words you can leave behind. But the world itself will never stop changing. Someday, perhaps, even your entire corpus will not be enough for the magic to continue describing this world. And when that happens, the story will end.
Still, it's worth a try.
Oh, my dear Anya. Even after all this time, you're still... Look at you. You should be enjoying your old age in peace and quiet, especially now that things are finally returning to normal after that terrible calamity.
Once he leaves Simulanka, things will only get more complicated. If his story is to continue, there needs to be more material for the magic to draw upon. I'll just have to skip over some of the less important details.
Anya, why do you insist on sending him out of the storybook world? Why must he face his fate into that? Why not just let him remain within the story? With my magic, even fate's curse could be undone and he could live happily ever after.
I suppose. In fairy tales, all it takes is a heartfelt wish. And even a wooden puppet can turn himself into a real boy and live happily ever after. That's just how fairy tales end, isn't it? But have you ever wondered what happens to the main character after the ever after? Tell me, Alice, in your eyes, what would be a writer's greatest regret?
To leave a story without an ending.
Not a bad answer. It's true, many writers come to consider that their greatest regret. But I see things differently. My greatest regret is that every story I write has to come to an end in the first place.
Anya.
No matter how brilliantly a character shines, the moment their story ends, their potential is lost forever. For them, the story itself becomes an inescapable fate. But what if, instead, I could place my pen in their hand and let them continue the story themselves?
You mean...
You said it yourself. I can only leave so many words behind. Even with your magic, the idea that I could keep the story going until the prophecy comes to pass is wishful thinking at best. but I've found a way to use your magic to transform some of my finished stories into a special kind of ink. This ink is a magical medium he can use to complete the story the way he wants to. For what is storytelling but another kind of magic? And if he can experience the whole tale himself while leaving behind his own wishes and aspirations, even once he reaches the chapter where I stopped, he'll still be able to carry the story forward on his own. And so, by leaving him this ink, I can entrust him with the responsibility of writing his own story.
A character with the power to write their own story.
That way, he'll finally be free from the cage that is my pen. And like anyone else living in the real world, he can go on to create a life of his own.
And you no longer need to worry about the constraints of my magic. What a brilliant idea, Anya. But there are still risks. First of all, once he arrives in Tevat, he'll have to rely entirely on the story you left him to maintain his connection to that world. As you gradually hand over creative control, that connection will grow weaker, and at some point, he might lose it altogether.
But at the same time, he'll also have the chance to forge that connection for himself.
The issue is, this method taps into too many of Tevat's core secrets. Any overt hints you try to leave will be erased in no time. In fact, it'd be hard for you to leave anything at all to guide them.
We still have the story itself, though. I can use that to show them the way.
It's entirely possible he burns through all your ink, never reaches the chapter you had in mind, and gets stuck, roaming the chapters of his past. But despite all that,
I still believe in what this child can become. His hopes and wishes can be his ink, so he won't be trapped by mine running dry.
Oh, what the writer you are, Anya. Your imagination never ceases to amaze. And you do know how much I love a happy ending. You shall have my help, my dear.
Thank you, my friend. Well then, my child, do you understand what you must do?
Yes, I think I do. It's my turn to keep this story alive.
Then what's holding you back?
What will become of you after I take up this pen?
I will fade away. There will no longer be a reason for me to go on existing. My child, or your mother, I should say, passed away long ago. The voice you're hearing is nothing but a magical echo that has now fulfilled its purpose. You needn't feel so reluctant to let me go.
I know my mother died long ago. It's just, when you lose your mom too soon, it's hard to tear yourself away from the stories she used to read. I guess it's a silly way of pretending she's still here, by your side.
Durin.
But after coming to this world and traveling it with my friends, facing all kinds of enemies together, I suddenly realized I couldn't just sit around listening to my mother's stories because I'd found a new purpose in life. Maybe this is just what growing up feels like. With all my new friends waiting, it's time I finally set aside my mother's storybook. I'm ready to grow up now, Mom.
Then take this. A gift I should have given you a long time ago. You've witnessed this story from the very beginning. Made your wishes, offered your blessings, and even wrote your choices into its pages. From here on out, this pen is yours. Now I ask of you, the other pillar of this story, as both its reader and its witness, will you turn the page so the next chapter can begin? Suddenly, and without warning, the powers of darkness struck. The question was, could the little dragon prevail? Alas, it was here that the story witch's tale had to end.
But Durin's tale, on the other hand, had only just begun. Stepping into his mother's memories, he picked up her pen. And so the story that was ending began anew. He had made up his mind to challenge the fate that barred the way ahead.
Looks like this is the final step.
A chance to strike back at fate? Now that's not something that comes knocking every day.
No, that fate no longer defines me. In the end, only my story shall endure. This time, the light prevails. Thank you, Mom. And so it was that Durin defeated the darkness and rewrote his fate. But his story is far from over. Is everyone okay?
We're fine, thanks. And hey, we all saw how you fought back there. That was awesome!
I have to admit, I do feel like something in me has changed. I owe you all so much. Without your help, I don't know if I could have ever made it this far.
Just a shame I could only help out from the sidelines. Like I said before, it's not every day that you get to put fate in its place.
Well, I'm sure you'll hear it someday.
Hear what?
The chance to strike back at fate knocking at your door.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Allow me to just check one thing. Yes. The abyssal power within you has stabilized again. And those strange symptoms you were experiencing seem to have completely disappeared.
Oh, thank goodness!
I wonder what it means, though. Aside from the principles of alchemy, what other law of this world governs his being?
Look, it all turned out fine, so just leave it at that. Now that this one's out of danger, it's time for me to get out of here.
You're leaving so soon? Don't humans usually throw a party after something like this?
A party? Do I look like that kind of guy? Anyway, come find me again next time you're in trouble. That's what friends are for, right?
In a way, though, he is right. This is Durin's moment to celebrate, not the time for academic discussions.
Hey, I don't blame you for asking. And honestly, I'd be perfectly happy to talk about it. It's just, I wouldn't even know where to start.
It's all right. I'm sure we'll get a chance at some point. After all, your story's only just begun.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. Traveler and Paimon, we'll part ways here. Given the extraordinary nature of the things we witnessed today, I need to make sure it's all recorded properly.
Okay, see ya! So, it's party time next? Huh?
Congratulations on completing your mission. Now then, as per our agreement, it's about time you returned that book.
She must have known the moment we finished. Just like she said she would.
I've heard dressing appropriately is a must for socializing.
Oh, my writer and witness. It's been quite the journey, hasn't it?
You had special plans for the Traveler from the start, didn't you?
But of course, that goes without saying. For a story to live on, it needs both a writer and a reader. Only then can my magic take effect. I chose the Traveler as the witness because of the special nature of who she is. It's not easy finding someone with that kind of background, you know. For a moment, I even considered taking the role myself.
At least it made for an interesting story, right?
Huh? What are you doing here, tone-deaf bard?
With the Hexenzirkel carrying out such a risky experiment in Mondstadt, it didn't cross your minds that the Animo Archon might be slightly curious?
Sorry for the trouble, Lord Barbados.
Think nothing of it. I dare say the Animo Archon quite enjoyed coming along for the ride. And now then, as agreed, let us see the fruits of your labor.
Here, please take a look.
Well, well, well. Somehow, despite all my careful planning, it still turned out to be full of surprises. It never even crossed my mind that Rhindotter's child would be capable of handling that kind of alchemy in her stead. When he asked for help with the materials, oh my, I nearly couldn't believe it. If only the others were here too. We could all celebrate together.
I'm right here, you know. The only one who hasn't responded is the one busy stuffing her face over there.
Is that you, Barbie? A little late to the party, don't you think?
Come here, child. Let me take a closer look at you.
All right, Aunt Seer Witch. Here I am.
Just as I thought. This child's fate does not appear among the stars. Anya has accomplished what almost no one before her could.
What does that mean?
Child, all you need to know is that you're very lucky indeed.
Oh.
Just like how she was in the story, huh?
Tell me, little Durin, what will you do next? I, for one, cannot wait to see how your story unfolds.
Well, there's so much I want to do. I'm not even sure where to begin.
How about settling your most recent regret?
exactly did you just tell Durin to do?
To make a long overdue wish come true.
Thank you once again, Alice.
How much time do you have left?
I believe these should be my final moments. Just enough time to say goodbye to my dearest friend.
This feels like having to say our final goodbyes all over again. I don't like it. Not one bit.
I don't know how to respond to that. Strange. You were always such a cheerful figure in my stories. I even dubbed you the Merry Witch, you know.
Oh, please. You know full well it was your stories that first taught me what true pain and sadness felt like.
Oh.
Aside from saying goodbye to me, shouldn't you also leave a few words for the child? Since the book will be his to continue, why don't you write him a little parting note?
There's no need. His mother already did that long, long ago. All that remains is for me to convey it on her behalf. My child, these may be the last words I get to leave you. I've always thought of the characters in my stories as my children, loving each one of them, just like a mother would. But you are the most extraordinary of them all. You alone can defy the fate of this world and write the perfect ending to my story. You alone shall leave these pages for a future I will not see. Still I say to you, fly, my sweet child. Just like a forest breeze yearns for the open sky, head into the unknown and seek an adventure to call your own. If you meet a dragon bright as 1,000 jewels, dance through the air together. You are not alone, for this world has accepted your place in it. Do not lose heart. You still have many wishes left to fulfill. A long tale awaits you, my love. Let songs and flowers be the ink that fills its pages. Take my pen and use it to continue your story.